Nave here with semifinals of the VTL Season 6.5 Reg H Draft League. I was sick, which doesn't sound normal, and coughing too much disease last week, so I didn't do a builder, but I'll recap it very quickly now. I still have the coughing disease. You'll probably hear it because my noise canceling sucks. You can even hear it. You can still hear the deep breaths I take because I shouldn't really be talking that much still. I traded Wochen for Scrafty. I don't have a more pleasing graphic to look at other than Tornadus's tail cutting it off. And I also traded for Golduck, who does have a pretty, at least it's on the end, all on its own. I rarely ever clicked Fake Out. I think I tracked it throughout the whole draft, and I found out I only clicked it twice, and it went into a protect half the time. And the typing, particularly the 4x weakness against Fairy, really let me down just because he was supposed to be bulky so much. So I let him go. Pretty much every possible bracket opponent I could have, Wochen was a better option in 2 than Scrafty, and Intimidate that can't be blocked by Clear and Mill is very appealing to me. I've kind of started to become a hater of Draft Intimidate, or at least it should only be attached to a Pokemon you would draft anyway, which Scrafty certainly is not. I do like the aesthetics of a Toxic Soul team with Petron and Wochen. I'm never going to plan on doing anything stalling, not like I have. I had 3 games to play, and you can't really Toxic Stall a Sand team, so whatever. Golduck was just to beat Mikey's Sand and Mario's Sun. Lucario does everything Frog. I don't want to do if I wanted to bring it, but Golduck sucked, so I didn't bring it to the set. The plan was lead Tornadus next to Treads. This is a Clear Amulet Treads, Horsepower, Earthquake, Ice Spinner. This is the Terra Ground, the standard set, Tailwind, Leer. It has Leer. That's important. It has Leer. And then Latias was Expert Belt. Golduck was Life Orb. Petulant was Shukaberry Flying. Normal set. Wochen was Black Glasses Foul Play. But the plan was, put Tornadus next to Iron Treads. Tornadus will live everything that isn't Helping Hand or Terra boosted, especially because its speed is so high. And then Treads would beat the Sand mode, Earthquake, Earthquake, Earthquake. Petron and Latias would be able to beat everything else, more or less. And Wochen is also here to beat the Sand mode. Is a little bit more uncomfortable. You can tell these 3, and I'll hit it super effectively. So the only thing I was afraid of from his team was a Terra Electric Scarf Rotom Mo. Treads can't hit Rotom super well. If it Terras, Ice Spinner can't to a KO it. And Lee Storm will do a whole lot back, especially if I Terra Ground. This is a Terra Ground Treads. Terra Ground, Tornadus, same deal. Even if I soak up a Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt, then I get Lee Storm to die. That sucks. I load into this game here, and I see that there's no Motom, so I know it's going to be a blowout. So this is game 1. You've been looking at forever. Game 1, this. You can already see the Terra because I'm too impatient. We'll turn this on fast. I know the CN Mega is going to protect. There's no world in which the CN Mega lets itself get down. I don't know what this Taurus is going to do, but I know I'm not afraid of it. I set up Tailwind. I Terra Ground. It is Scarf, which does surprise me, but it's not Terra Electric boosted, and it doesn't crit, so it doesn't get anything done. I Tailwind. I hit the Horse move. It dies. And then he's down a Mon without getting any other rewards on turn 1, and that's very, very, very difficult to come back from. It's just a wrap from there. I Air Slash the Mega. I Spinner it instead. No speed control for you. You kill Tornadus, sure, but it's outlived its usefulness. You go into Petch. Why not? Horsepower, the Excadrill. I know it's not going to be Sash because the Mega was Sash, or the CN Mega came at all. And then I found out that T-Tar's Excadrill, I assumed the Excadrill was banned instead of Sash. I didn't know. Mikey tends to bring the same few sets every week, leaning on what's good in regular VGC. And it's worked out for him very well this season, but against a playstyle like mine, you are at a severe disadvantage. So that happens. My Shukaberry gets knocked off before I could get off. That's a little sad, but I know I recovered just because I hate when Petch dies. We got to keep that Petch agenda going, baby. And then Ice Spinner and dead. That's it. That's game 1. Last Mon unrevealed. 5-turn game. Load into game 2. I don't change anything from game 2. I don't need to. And we load in here, and we see Gardevoir and Tauros. I know the Gardevoir can't be Sash, and I'm worried, but I am worried it could set Trick Room. So I do Leer plus Earthquake, and then I still Terra Ground just because why not? And then I see a Helping Hand, and I forgot Gardevoir gets that. That does surprise me, but it goes into Treads. If it would, instead of Tornadus, instead of a Wild Charge or a Flare within the Tornadus. So Leer. Dies. Double kill turn 1. I'm able to set Tailwind up in the next turn because this turn has AV. It cannot Helping Hand Excadrill from Covert Cloak. So unless this Rock Slide crit, nothing would happen. Tornadus dies. I go into you. Horse move. Foul Play. This Excadrill is banned, so it's locked in the Rock Slide. Ice Spinner. Along that chain. And here is Toxic, and of course I could put him out of his misery and simply Ice Spinner again. but I would much prefer for the Pet's agenda to continue and protect fails and then hits itself. Now, this could have gone a lot worse if he helped bring hand Flare Blitz the Tornadus. I would not have been able to kill the Gardevoir turn 1, although the Tauros definitely still would have died. But because Tauros is now dead and TRN turn Excadrill in the back, it still would have been a very uncomfortable switch in, and probably still favored for me because it would have been very difficult for me to gain speed control, and the Latias side in the back, I had him back both game 1 and game 2, and didn't realize the game wouldn't have been useful if he was able to lock into Iron Head or what I assume would have been Parabug X Scissor. No point worrying about the past, because now we have to worry about the present. We are in top 8 now, and we're playing against Quirt. We basically have the team I was going to draft at first, this exact top 5 you'll see on the side, but with Petra over Gholdengo. I do feel like I'm at a heavy disadvantage. It's a very similar team to my own, but with a higher damage output and some superior speed control, Gale Wings, Tailwind, and having Trick Room at all. It is a very slap fight matchup where any given high tier will do well into half the team and then terrible into the other half. How good each of our individual pieces will be against each other will depend on how we exhaust the other terras and the use of type berries. Now, Quirt with the drafter's spirit. He's run plenty of weird techs and coverage this season, but he knows when you don't have to reinvent the wheel. He doesn't have too many team building trends this season. He does lean on setup or choice lock guys often, but not with enough frequency to say for certain what is obvious here, and I don't feel like there's an obvious best strategy into me. I'm very afraid of Sword Dance Skill Shot Chomp, but we'll get into why I think he may not realize that later on. So I do feel like flow charting is to my benefit here. At least it wasn't the last time we played, which isn't going to stop me, but like, you know, hypothetically. So, and you can see it's the same boring 5 I bring every time with a Pachirisu +1. I wanted to do a rain mode with Rain Dance Tornadus and Golduck over like Petulant, but I found myself unable to justify it because of the low accuracy of Golduck's Muddy Water and Hydro Pump, and Golduck does not get Weather Ball, which I guess makes sense as because it has Cloud 9, but it still sucks. It's still got Swift Swim, so it should still get Weather Ball, and having the 50 BP normal Weather Ball would be really funny. You know, if Golduck got Weather Ball, I could Terra Water, Life Orb, Weather Ball everything, and it would OHKO everything, but I've played very conservatively this whole season, and I'm not going to stop now just to hit Hydro Pumps, despite trusting Hydro Pump the most out of all inaccurate moves. The bigger factor to my decision is that Golduck cannot come on its own, while Petulant can, and flexibility in these 5-mon core plus the Pachirisu is very necessary. That's why I'm always bringing these 5. Also, because of consistent, Tornadus is the standard boring set. Books for Fake Out from Salazzle, Tailwind for speed control, even though I don't really need it, and Taunt to stop Skip Plume, and Trick Room set is Mental Herb, Air Slash because it's Stab. You know what I have to say about Bleak Wind Storm. And Heat Wave gives me some way to hit Gholdengo. Very boring. Who cares? Now, as usual, we're going back to the old classic of a Torn Treads lead. Potentially, we're not always going to lead it, but you know I can. I think it's Iron Leaves and a potential Scale Shot Chomp. Treads does feel like it has to be booster speed. See that here, which does stop being helpful if Tailwind goes up or Trick Room goes up on his side, and also if I Tailwind, maintaining that speed advantage isn't really that good. But there aren't really any other better items. There's maybe Expert Belt, because surprisingly Jolly Treads does not 2-hit KO OHKO, does not OHKO Gholdengo with its stabs, or OHKO Garchomp with Ice Spinner, but if anything forces a resist barrier or balloon or its Treads, so I don't want to have too much faith in him, especially his offenses, and he hasn't let me down yet, and I trust this will continue. Stab the ground ice coverage because obviously attack stat, attack investment is a little lower than I'm comfortable with, but it's solid rolls till a Life Orb, Stomach Tantrum, and an unboosted Liquidation from Azumarill. I don't hit 2-hit KOs into Galarian Articuno when I leaves very consistently, but I wasn't really doing that in the first place. It was just a more likely roll, so we're going to stick with this. So that's what I want to do because it's the safest. I'm going to lead it against things that are bad against our real lead, which is Pachirisu plus Latias. Specifically a Terra Electric Combine Latias. Now, I went back and forth on this set because looking at the other team, I think you would assume Terra Steel Latias is really free into it. I do not agree. A very large portion of this team gets good fighting coverage. There's 2 Iron Pressers, there's Close Combat Leaves, there's Superpower Azumarill, and like even Sash Overheat Salazzles really hurt even after my Combine boost. So I'm running Electric because it gives me no weaknesses and it still lets me resist Make It Rain from Gholdengo. I was initially Combined Ice Beam Leftovers over Dragon Pulse here, but I found out pretty quickly that set sucks. Elective Ire plus Scale Shot or Dance Chomp really screws Lottie over because of how slowly Lefty's Lottie ramps. So I shot out my Lefty's Vitriol, so it doesn't fix the offensive ramping problem, but does let me live a +2 Scale Shot at Terra Electric. And I've taken Ice Beam off for Dragon Pulse, I missed out on Okoing Leaves at +2, but the higher average DPS is better everywhere else. To have for leftovers to be better than Citrus, it would have to live 5 turns on average, probably 2 of those from protecting. I don't think that will happen, so Citrus should be safer. Even in the best of scenarios, I don't think this is a game where Latias gets the +2 and takes and kills something 4 times. I think Latias's job is to remove 1 or both of the threats of Guard Stomp and Goldengo, and then the backline can take care of everything else. Hatarisu is, Hatarisu is going to be Sash. It has this investment. It does have some defense investment to live a 5-hit scale shot from Adamant Guard Chomp. Uberfang is a little weird because Latias is faster than everything. It's 72, faster than everything. There's a Salazzle or Scarf. But I'm very worried about Electivire carrying Taunt, and that's the best way to get it down to Berry. Another big factor in having Dragon Pulse over Ice Beam was that +2 Ice Beam with not 2 Chaos to spare Electivire, while +2 Dragon Pulse will. But anyway, this is the best way to get Fletchinder down to Berry, and I +2 Dragon Pulse probably still doesn't OHKO Electivire, but it's a roll. I can quick attack it, get it down to like 70% HP, and then Dragon Pulse will kill. So that quick attack is my Fletchinder answer. Fletchinder killing combo. I break its Gale Wings. I'm faster than Fletchinder always. I quick attack it, and then I Terra Electric Thunderbolt. It should not have to fear much in particular on that turn 1. Nothing should be able to OHKO Latias unless it's like Terra Stellar, or I guess maybe Choice Spec Steel Beam, Terra Steel Beam would, but that's, you don't do that in front of Goldenga, Hatarisu, so whatever. Salazzle plus Fletchinder does beat this combo as just like Terra Ghost, or Fletchinder could just protect, but I'm not going to bet on that. I think if you have to burn Terra on the Fletchinder, that leaves me in a pretty good position depending on what you do. And now the last 2 are going to be our bread and butter, Pachyrant and Wochen. Quite a terrible matchup to Goldengo. Patch is invaluable into Azumarill Leaves because those are the biggest threats to Wochen, who in a world without Mega Horn, Iron Leaves, Wochen cannot be sufficiently offensively answered by everything. There's Dash Overheat Salazzle, but even then that it does less than 50 with my AV Wochen, which maximizes its ability to survive against Goldengo, but with enough bulk defensively to live Play Roughs and X-Scissor even at Banded. Leaf Storm does not OHKO Azumarill, but it does do a solid 90, and if it's Life Orb or if it's taken any other chip, that'll be good enough. Dark Pulse to OHKOs a Goldengo that has a Terra, and then the last 2 are the Foul Play and Pollen Puff are the utility we love. Pollen Puff is healing, and it especially makes Trick Room almost unviable, I'd say, because your guys with bug moves, you don't really want to bring up the Trick Room. I Pollen Puff the Latias, even if you do kill it, you get a lot of damage onto everything else. And then like Foul Play, just mostly to punish Jet Up, but it's also a physical move and kind of marries my only physical attacker Treads to the rest of the team. Last but not least, Pachyrant was originally Kasha Berry to live Goldengo Shadow Balls, but if Goldengo Nasty plots, it'll die to the Shadow Ball, so I went in with Pyappa Berry, which increases my matchup against both Iron Leaves. I can completely wall Iron Leaves, at least for 1 turn, Malignant Chain it, Poison Gas it, Hex it even, see what happens, and the same thing with Galarian Articuno. And because I've got a bunch of nervous speed investment, 124 does not particularly outspeed everything. I only actually need 36 speed to outspeed a Jolly Azumarill, and that's really all that's worth it. But I'm just very nervous about a Life Orb Goldengo because this investment lives a modest non-boosted item Shadow Ball, but everything else will kill me. And like, I don't know, this technically speed creeps a Goldengo that wants to outspeed Wochen for whatever reason, because modest Wochen hits 122 and this is 124, so you would go to 123, this is 124. The actual speed benchmarks that I would want to outspeed, which is modest 252, which like does outspeed something in particular. It outspeeds like Florges, which everything Run Florges, that would be very strong. We're just settling for this. Even if the goal turns out to be min speed, this missing investment matters surprisingly little. I won in 196 here, who cares in low code or anything like that, and this investment is mostly vestigial. I think what I'm most worried about have decent chances to just not come. I'm the most scared of Swords Dance Skullshot Garchomp. As I said, it beats Latias in a setup war very, very easily. But maybe in the builder, Terra Steel Latias seems really, really obvious, and I think it does. I think people I've shown the team to have all said Terra Steel Latias, or at least one of them, I forget. If you're scared of that, you would have to run Fire Fang, which sucks. You would have to run Terra Blast Fire, which is committal and again still kind of sucks. And like, it's got poor matchups into Treads. Maybe it's not getting OHKO'd by Treads, but it's still taking like 90 from Ice Spinner. Wochen really, really hurts it. You can't really boost past it, because I believe +2 by fate scale shot does not Oko Wochin, and then foul play will always kill a Garchomp in return, especially if it's at -1 from scale shot. And like, maybe you see that and you go, oh, I don't really want to bring Garchomp into this, I can bring someone else. And if that doesn't come, that is really, really good for me. I think, I think that's a case of a, maybe what seems good, what doesn't seem good on the surface is actually good, because I'm taking my like inherent good magic with the Garchomp for granted and not trying to beat it harder than I already could be. But maybe that's bullshit and I'm making shit up. Megahorn Leaves is genuinely my biggest concern, #1 on the threat radar, and I'd bet money if it comes, it has Megahorn. So if I have any spare RNG to cash in, I'd like to use it on Megahorn missing Wochin, Megahorn missing Latias too, I guess, but really just the Wochin. And then the last things on the list are Skipling, because Sleep Powder sucks. Again, I think that seems a little contentious, into Tornadus, into like Pachirisu, into like Ice Spinner Treads and stuff like that. Of course, you can make it sashed or whatever, but and then Salazzle, because Encore sucks. If Salazzle comes, I cannot lead Pachirisu plus Latias. I have to lead either Torn Lati or Torn Treads, and like what happens is I have to attack turn 1. Depending on the lead, I have to attack turn 1 with Latias so I don't get encored, or like even if it does fake out, like so I can't get on, like, because if I protect on the fake out, then they can encore me into fake out if they can also kill Tornadus. Protecting, I don't really want to Tailwind turn 1, because I would rather Heat Wave, Air Slash, and break the stash on the Salazzle. I also think that like a Scarf Salazzle, like very offensive vested with Heat Wave, could be very strong, and that was a small part of why I wanted to bring that Tornadus, but I decided that's kind of silly. And look at this team. I think modest Heat Wave barely touches this. I think you have to invest a lot of speed anyway to hit 170, because you have to hit 174 to outspeed booster Treads, and then if you're not modest, then you have to burn Terra. This could be our final match of the season, and let's hope it isn't. That's right, there is no Garchomp, but there is a Salazzle, so it is unsafe for me to do not Pachirisu. It is a bit unsafe for me to do my favorite tech. I mean, we know we want these 4 in the back. We know what Tornadus spreads. Azumarill is a little annoying, but we've got Wochin for that. I don't know. I mean, obviously we have an answer for the Skiploom and Golden Go and Iron Leaf and everything. Just for no Megahorn, we have to preserve Terra. For Iron Leaves, probably we have to see what the Salazzle is. Obviously, I can just taunt the Skiploom. I think you should be expecting that. It's just about to do Torn Lot. I'm glad I changed my mind. Let's see. Work Drive. We're going to assume this thing is banned. We're going to get out here. We're going to Tailwind just in case, and we're going to Protect. See what happens. Happy fart noises is crazy work. So this isn't booster. I want to assume that this Salazzle isn't. I want to assume that this Leaves is banned. I want to assume that the Salazzle is either Sash or Scarf. I don't think Leaves gets knockoff. So this should be. Yep. And that is indeed Scarf. That is indeed Scarf. Salazzle. I did not do any, I didn't really do any tests or calcs against it, but I was very much expecting it. So we're going to take a break here just to put all of the. I assume that this is going to be Salazzle, not Salamence. Scarf, Modest. I'm going to do soon Scarf, Timid. Overheat is fine. Yeah, if I overheat on Treads, if I Ghost, everything should be fine. Yep, Earthquake. We're going to Heat Wave Earthquake. I'm going to Goldengo. Put that here. Put Skiploom here. I'm going to assume Skiploom is Sash. I don't know what I assume as in real. Oh no, I have Tailwind. If I force Terra, I force Terra. I just Tailwind EQ, yeah. Do it again, right? Ooh, if it took 28 from that Heat Wave, I mean, it's probably AV. So we're going to assume this is AV. We're going to assume this is AV. If I do Air Slash into Ice Spinner, it should pick up. This Goldengo does have Protect, so it's probably Life Orb. I always thought it was going to be Life Orb. You are pivoting so much, Misty. You see, I'm going to taunt the Azumarill just in case it's just in case it's Belly Drum, I guess. It is Belly Drum. As a result, I will be assuming it is. So I got 2 Pokemon, it didn't take a single hit of damage, which is pretty good, if I say so myself. There's no Terra. So this Azumarill cannot Terra or anything. It is Citrus. If I assume it's just 2/4/4, Citrus, go down to you. No speed investment because you don't have any Terra. And Citrus, you should be at 26, 34, does not happen. So I think I Heat Wave and I Protect. And that could probably matter. Oh, and I got a burn. It's Moringa Berry. It's a Moringa Berry Goldengo, which is something. It's citrus. That was a funny citrus activation. Okay, well that was a great 4-0. That was a really silly 4-0. Okay, I got a lot of information and didn't lose much in return. Over here, I think he counted the tailwind turn wrong on the last turn of Terra, because I think switching in, I mean, we'll go back here, but there's some turn where he switched in Salazzle and didn't Terra it. I assume it must be Terra Fire for that. I'm going to assume it's Scarf Timid because of how quickly it switched in. Do that. Fake out, I'm going to assume it has Heat Wave. Let's just do a quick check of... It is between a fart and a hard place. So Overheat, what other moves were revealed? Goldengo has Make It Rain. Heck, I don't know why that Goldengo is Miranda. Water, Only Drum, Rocket Jet. I know that leads to VAV. This is a little tough. I think we do lead these two. I think leading these two is fine. I think we want, I mean, obviously I think we want Treads in the back again. I think we just do the same thing. Did Goldengo. Goldengo is called Endymion. I probably said that, which is the thing I always hate saying. I always hate saying, oh, I probably said that wrong. I probably butchered that. You just Google it and learn how to say it right. Or, you know, just let it pass. Some of the shame of not knowing the word. Okay, I had speed advantage the whole game, so no, the speed does not matter to me. I am going to still do Petulant. I think I'm not going to bring... Yeah, let's keep this. Let's do this. We'll bring Woach and Petch. Do you even want to bring Woach and Petch? This is silly. I locked in and he didn't lock in, so this is hard for him too. I mean, I think Skiploom... I don't know if Cold does anything, but I want to bring this because I think... Does Salazzle have Lava Plume? It does not have Lava Plume. I'm going to assume it gets Dragon Pulse as its last move. Like Dragon Darts or something. So this is Moringa. We're going to assume it's 252, 252. With Protect, I'll assume it has Power Gem for the hell of it. This is still... Sure, Bold is fine. Yeah, Assault Vest leaves. Okay. Yeah, I think Wochin... What does Scarf do to this Wochin? It does not do much. I think obviously what does +6 Citrus do to Wochin? It's slower and dies to that, so I still want Wochin, but I think we'll keep in Treads just in case. I don't know. Oh yeah, I think the Follow Me is good. I'm taking a bit of a risk with Skiploom and Tailwind, but I think if you see Tornadus, you don't feel like when you see Tornadus like this, I don't think when you saw Taunt Tornadus and how Taunt Tornadus shut down your Azumarill game plan, I don't think you like Skiploom, which is a lot of thought when Skiploom didn't even show up. If I wanted to guess, I would think that the plan here is because of Steam Engine. If I have Steam Engine right, I think the plan is to hit. That's fine. That's a lot as bad, but it's manageable. That's fine. Yep. And we get to go into you. This is a little tough because +1 IDUR, Power Herb. I'm going to assume that you are... No, Acid Spray isn't very helpful. That is good. That was a good play from him. If I assume it's Grass, I think we do Terra and we do Dragon Pulse on the Colossal. It's fine. The Earthquake, I think we Dragon Pulse the you. The Earthquake and only Dragon Pulse the you. Just for whatever you switch into, obviously. This is a pretty bad spot, I'd say. I'd wager, for all, because especially with Terra involved on the Colossal. I think so. This is Acid Spray, but I'm not concerned with the Iron at present. I do think it's going to Mega Horn me, and that will suck, but that's why on Terra. I don't think there's anything you can switch into that likes this combination attack either. And this is a tough decision too. Steel! That worked. I should have Thunderbolted, I guess. That is Mega Horn, but I live Mega Horn, which you don't know. And we Thunderbolt. You've wasted Terra and little I did go down to Citrus, which sucks. But little, oh, that is bad. And that Fire Blast, that always killed, so it doesn't matter. So what would it take to do 66 to Electric? Okay, so that's not that. That's banned. That's banned. That's just banned and bulky. Adamant. For Adamant to do that much, that means it's Jolly. I was wrong in assuming it's item. So that is banned. And that sucks because, well, now that Wo-Chen's out, it doesn't matter. Banned, and now I don't banned Megahorn. Wo-Chen does not live. So this is where I kind of have to pray, right? I have to pray that it'll that it misses. I actually should have. I really should have Terra Electric and Thunderbolted that. Yeah, that would have killed. A miss? No such luck. I don't think I have the reversal in me, so that's a bad game too. Ooh, this is tough. All right, just to see what happens. So that, and I don't kill. I would need a crit to live that. Hit all of his that. All right. So now that I know that it's banned, I know I want that to run should be a miracle lead. What I'm more concerned about is because I know that does 50. No colossal should take. So that the last move is acid spray. You should not have any. You don't have any speed control moves. You don't have low sweep. Yeah. So this is figuring out what the lead is. Hatirisu works. Doing the same lead again works, right? Because if I lose again, I know that I just have the Thunderbolt. I know it's just the move. I know that it's just Thunderbolt into. I know that I just have to Thunderbolt into the Colossal now because that was my only real blunder. I know I should have to preserve Terra for Treads though. I think we lead Treads. I think we go back to Treads Torn because we go back to Treads Turn, and I think we do this. We put pets, right? I think we definitely want pets. We definitely want pets. We saw with Banded that this would be a big threat. I know not being able to hit the Colossal is bad, but I'm just trying to think what happens if itself overheats onto the Colossal, and what does +6 Colossal get to? 328. Did they lead the same thing again? I Terra Grass the Tornadus to live the Meteor Beam, because that's what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to do Power Herb, Meteor Beam. That's what he's banking on. That was his tech to kill Horn, and I can make it not work. If he doesn't do the same thing again, I'll be fine. But that was his tech to beat Torn. His tech to beat Torn is to self overheat and then Meteor Beam. If I Terra Grass, that no longer becomes an option. And also that could happen. We taunt the thing and we Earthquake. We Terra Grass. We Terra Ghost Earthquake. Because we can't afford to not kill the other slot. We can't afford the consequences of... That is bad? No, that's fine. What? Oh, that crit, oh wow, I lose. I lose because of that crit. I lose because of that burn. I lose because of that burn. I Tailwind and I Calm Mind. I don't know what else I got, right? But as long as the Zoom Rail didn't come, I should be fine. Because what, Heat Wave? That crit into burn is really fucking bad. Air Slash. Does Air Slash kill the Salazzle? I should have seen it. I kind of knew I should have seen it again. The Skip Luna's taunt is bad, but I don't think it. Yeah, we taunt it and then we taunt mine again. Poison Gas, Thunderbolt, because especially if you switch out like into something else, yeah. Hitting yourself would be nice. I think it would be nice if you hit yourself. No. Nothing of that nature. Nothing of that nature at all. I'm mad. That took me out of it. I think I'm still in a really good spot. That did numbers to my mental. Oh, and I crit. Never mind. It's okay. Dragon Blade. I don't fucking Dragon Pulse and Malignant Chain picks up on the fucking thing. I know this is banned. It should always die. You can't Terra. Oh, I'm faster than it. Did I lose because of that? That's a weird speed tiering where that's that slow. Do I live? Banned Throat Chop? I don't. Oh, I lose, I guess. I don't know, he deserved it, I guess. I don't fucking know. Yeah, I think I lost because I got unlucky, right? If we're speed tied and I lost 2 speed ties in a row, if I hit 2 Malignant Chains and neither of them got toxic, if we ignore this, the whole turn where I got EQ'd, whatever, I don't know. That was stupid. Is the post-up recap. I said I wouldn't do it, and I'm going to do it again. Probably going to always happen, so whatever. Not going to cover game 2, at least through replays. I think I just lost that one on lead. Terra Electric, the Terra Electric Lottie strat just wasn't strong enough, and combined with my misread of the leaves as Assault Vest over Band, meant my only out was Mega Horn misses. I didn't get the Mega Horn misses. I could have Thunderbolted the Colossal, maybe, but then I think that the Salazzle overheat spreads, and leaves dies to another Mega Horn. And if that's not how the turns worked, I think I still lose long term. So whatever. Now, I lost game 3 here because I threw and not because of RNG. I had a guaranteed win I did not identify, and while there was statistically likely RNG that did not go my way, and if that did go my way, my chances of winning in spite of my throw go up, the deciding factor was still mostly my play. Now, this isn't to say that what happened on turn 1, which will go down in Draft League history forever, I would have just won on the spot if that didn't happen. Okay. Even if Treads is only burnt, let's just replay it. Let's just replay it so we can. Yep. Pause there. Even if I was just burnt, well, let's get burnt, which is worse than the crit. The burn is worse than the crit. I would just get to protect the next turn. Torn lives the second heat wave. I tailwind. Then I EQ. Every switch and take the bunch from EQ plus I win. I was gonna say for a bit that getting crit and burnt was lucky because I got a free switch in into Lottie. But like that was assuming it was a roll for Torn to live the second heat wave, and it wasn't. So never mind. And like I did also that heat wave was literal max roll. Knowing the sets on the both, that was a max roll crit too. So isn't that wonderful? I still would have died to the burn next turn, and that would have been worse. Or like it still would have been. It probably was worse. Getting the max roll, I guess, was lucky. I guess I don't know. We don't have to talk about that much anymore. I think par for the core here until turn 6. I get lucky with this Dragon Pulse crit here, but if it didn't happen, what happens is I don't know what the Colossal does. I could watch his video and find out. But if it power gem the Petra run, I get to recover Petra run forever. It does 43 to 53, assuming there are no high rolls. I can go to recover off that damage, get some HP profit each time. Probably eventually works out for me, and then I would then get to kill the Skiploom probably. If I kill the Skiploom, that gives leave the free switch in, and if I select Malignant Chain plus, let's pretend this is an Iron Leaves, Malignant Chain plus Pulse double up into Leaves, I do win the game on the spot. If I win the Pet Speed tie, if I lose the speed tie, I lose the game. Seeing the leaves, assuming it is slower than Petch, just faster than Petch, which I should, and I do a different play, I don't know what happened. It's not worth considering too much. It kind of is, because in the grand karma scheme of this game. Now turn 7 is what matters. In not targeting the Skiploom here with Dragon Pulse, Malignant Chain into Leaves, I threw a guaranteed run away. This makes the speed ties not matter. Barring crit, it could of course crit throw chop me. That would suck. But like, this dies, Malignant Chain happens, doesn't matter, it poisons me, does 50, I do back, there's no pollen puff, it kills. I did not respect the Skiploom speeder at all, or even just in my various hazes I was in after that turn 1. Just kind of forgot how fast it was, enough to attack it. By doing that, by not attacking the Skiploom, the result of the game now becomes RNG. Who wins the speed ties? Do I get the poison? Does Leaves hit itself after being poisoned? None of the RNG went my way. As you can see, if that happened, I go, uh-oh. No poison here. I die. I lose the speed tie here. I do this. I don't get the Malignant Chain proc. And in a Just World, this is how things go. In a Just World where I was punished for my poor play and I lost in return. But Petch is my little RNG machine, right? Petches has done so well for me. I've done so much for Petch. I've fed so many kills to it this entire game. I should get a global. I did do a a global pet kill counter. It's at like 8. Or like it's at, I think it's either at 6 or 8. Maybe it was 8 after Mikey's game, and a good half of those kills were just things I fed to it because I love pets. But not rolling any RNG at the end with the speed ties and the toxic chains does feel a little insulting. It's let me down here. So even with this turn, even with the turn 7 Thrawn Mind, it does kind of feel like I'm coping for the other team a little here. I'm less hard on myself for this than I would be otherwise, because the turn 1 crit like me out of whatever zone I was in, so I'll have to go walk deep into the forest with parry and work on my mental, so the next time I get super crit, I don't go, oh. Also, it can't be 8 p.m. when which I guess that's more of a life skill. Not becoming brain useless at 8 p.m. is more of a life skill. Pokemon's. Whatever. My full season notes are I'm upset that pets can't have the crown of best mythical. If Mike wins his set, it's the second best mythical for sure. And if Mike loses, we're tied for first. Hedge and Volcanion are tied for first, and that doesn't feel very good. So, whatever. I like the team I had. I like the team I drafted. While I do dislike that I so often ended up bringing the same 4 or 5, I said this in Season 6, I didn't change it at all, but being less type chart obsessed, especially because I drafted so many ways to beat ground, and I ended up with a type chart that said I was very weak to ground, but I wasn't weak to ground at all in practice. I should think of in practice rather than just what the spreadsheet tells me more. In a world where I knew that ahead of time and made more trades, I obviously trade Scrafty for Wochin. I didn't do that earlier because I was afraid, oh god, I'm gonna be a Toxic Gold Diamond passive. Would not have been true. Wochin is just as strong as Scrafty, if not stronger. It depends. Power Whip Wochin Power Whip knockoff Wochin is as strong. So Wochin is stronger than Scrafty because of Leaf's a higher special attack and a higher Leaf. So there's that. Doing it all again, I would have traded Avalugg Hisui for like Porygon, traded Munchlax for some other D-tiers, and then I would get a more versatile B-tier than Florges. That probably would have had to been Ghost or Psychic again, but I could have gotten Infernape again if I had Wochin. That would have worked more. This is just, wish list of realizations. But that could have gone along. I think next draft, I'm kind of approaching the point where I drafted super, super weird here, a super, super weird, super defensive. I think next draft, I'm going to try hyper offense or even more balanced or something like. We'll figure it out. I don't know. It'll either be restricted draft or Perry speed draft. I'm losing both this season. My transition won't even. But losing both this season and the last one to RNG does further my global draft character parallels to Ask Ketchum of lore. Moonblast drops and Heatwave crits. The Heatwave burn crits are my Tobias, or my Charizard takes a nap. I only really saw those two when I was a kid. I forget how I lose the other. Or the guy was in Eevee. No, it was the guy with the Lucario. Or that guy named Cameron. It'll be hard for me to come back stronger next season, but I'll try to come back lucky.